we go. So, welcome to Intermediate Therapeutics Spine and Hip class. So for those of you who don't know me, I'm Janet Karskadden. And today we're going to explore the thoracic spine. So the thoracic spine is the middle part where the rib cage is. I was able to bring this from the studio before we closed. So I'm lucky to have a little spine here. So it's this mid part of the spine, and this part has a forward curve in it. And it tends to take a lot of beating from working at computers, which I think a lot of us are on more computers than typical, because the head is forward, and these muscles can get really stressed in this area. What can happen is that part of the spine can get locked up. And all of the muscles, or some of the major muscles of the low back, originate up in here, up in the mid back between your shoulder blades, and they go all the way down into the low back. When all of this is tight, sometimes it causes excessive mobility to happen if you have a level or two that have a little extra flexibility. Sometimes it just causes the whole thing to freeze up. And it also can restrict your breathing, the movement of your arms, and then even the movement of your neck. So having some freedom in the upper back is a little trick that, as physical therapists, we know that when people are coming in with low back pain, neck pain, shoulder pain, or even restrictions in the hip or pain in that area, that if we improve the mobility in the thoracic spine, very often we actually get a lot of other areas to improve or start to move better. And so I'd like you just to notice in this class how you feel, before the class and how you feel after. So it helps you understand how this practice may affect you. So when we start, I'm just going to have you take a moment to notice the mobility in the spine. So find a comfortable seat. And if you can sit on something that allows your bottom to come up above your knees, so your hips above your knees. I'm on a bolster, but a block, a blanket, couch cushion would work really nicely. See if you can find a place where your head lines up over your pelvis so that you're not slumped forward and you're also not sitting up too straight. So find that neutral position. Then from here, bring your arms up towards the sides like this. We call these cactus arms. And then just very gently rotate to the right. And then come back to the center and rotate to the left. And just notice how easy this is to do. And then how this feels. So there's areas of restriction or sensitivity from either side. And release back down. Then take a moment to notice your breath. Just take a full deep breath in. And then exhale all the way out. And try that again and notice how easy it is for you to expand through the ribcage. And notice where the breath is moving and perhaps where the breath's not moving. Take another one. Come back down. Good. Then close your eyes for a moment and just check in with your whole body. Moving from head to toe and notice where there's areas of tension. Notice if there's some sensitivity or irritation anywhere. Just how your body feels in general. And open your eyes. I'm going to move to the floor. So those of you who got here earlier, we talked about trying to use something like a couch cushion. It could be like one of those small, like throw pillows off the couch, or a rolled up towel, or a blanket, something like this. See if you can find something that's not too large. And if you don't have anything, you can do all of these exercises without it, okay? And you're gonna bring this down and place it across your mat, horizontally across the mat like that. You're gonna lie over it with the upper back, so this area right around the shoulder blades, coming over the edge of your blanket. So we'll lie back like this. We'll start with our knees bent. And if it's comfortable, you can take your hands behind your head and allow your head to come back towards the mat. If your head is really up in the air, you may want to take a layer off of your blanket, or you may want to scooch up a little bit See if you can come back to a place where your head can comfortably relax. If that's too much, then take the blanket or the pillow out, and then just lie back on the floor like this. And once you've found your position, see if you can move your breath from the inhale, moving from the bottom all the way up to the top of the chest. And as you exhale, try to relax the chest and the ribs and then the belly. So breathing through those three components of the breath: belly, ribs, and chest on the inhale. And then exhale, relax the chest and the ribs and the belly. Just try 3 more breaths at your own pace. And after your third breath, roll over onto your right side. I'm going to mirror you. And again, you can do this with your folded blanket or pillow, or just on the floor. Take a little pillow with your hands. Draw your knees up towards your chest like this. You can stay in this position, or you can recline all the way down onto your elbow. And stretch your arm up overhead. And breathe into those top ribs. Again, working on filling and expanding from bottom to top, all the way up to the armpit. And then exhale back down again. Breathe from bottom to top. Trying to feel some expansion of those little muscles in between the ribs. 2 more breaths at your own pace. And if you'd like to take your stretch a little bit deeper, take your bottom wrist and grab a hold of the top wrist to lengthen. You can even try extending the leg all the way out. Relax your head down on your bottom arm and stretch and lengthen that whole side for a couple of breaths. Release the hands and take your top hand, push down on the ground to come back up. Then switch sides. So come through the center, roll over to the other side. And then bring yourself down so that the mid part, so you want this sort of mid part of the ribs from the armpit down in contact if you're using a roll or a pillow. Come down, you can start high. Knees are bent around 90 degrees. And then if it feels comfortable, you can start to lower down. And feel free to adjust the roll or the pillow so that it's in a place that feels comfortable. Then take that top arm up overhead. Breathe into the top ribs. Inhale from bottom to top. Moving all the way up into the armpit area. Trying to feel some expansion of those muscles in between the ribs. And then if you took this variation on the other side, feel free to grab a hold of your wrist. Bottom one grabs the top one, reach and extend your top leg down. And breathe again into that top rib cage. And release the top arm. You can bring it in front of the face to push down to come back up. Now, you move your cushion out of the way. You can come back and sit cross-legged, or you can use it to sit on. I'm going to use my bolster, but feel free to use that blanket or cushion to come back to a seated position. And we're going to work through a little rotation in the spine and some side bending. So I like to come into this position, an easy sit where the heel is in front of the heel, and then bring my shins down so that they're in contact with the floor. Bring the arms up overhead. Then exhale the right arm down. Again, I'm mirroring you. And the left arm comes up and over. And keep your left buttock rooted down into your mat or the surface that you're sitting on. And then breathe into that left rib cage. If it's comfortable in the neck, the gaze can start to come up towards the base of the top thumb. And then continue to reach and stretch forward and over towards that right leg. And then gaze down. We stretch through the back of the neck. Inhale the arm all the way back up. Bring the left arm down towards the floor or your blanket. The right arm comes up and over. Breath moves into the right side of the rib cage. Option to look up at the base of the thumb. And be sure to root down through that right buttock. Start to stretch forward and over the left leg. And reach down towards the knee. Soften your head down to stretch through the back of the neck. All the way back up. Bring both arms up overhead and try to lengthen through both sides of the rib cage. Notice that it's really easy to overlift the ribs. So the arms come up and then cinch the lower ribs down. Soften the shoulders down the back. Breathe into the front of the chest. And we'll start to twist over to the right side. Reach over towards that knee. This time, take the palm of the hand up. So the left hand is up. We're going to bring the right arm up into the air and then twist a little bit more over to the right side. Reach your right hand down behind and then turn your palm down and start to rotate and gaze over the right side. You use your hands to offer a slight bit of overpressure. And then if it's comfortable, you take your head and you turn and do a bit of counter rotation. So you look over your left side. So your body is twisting to the right, your head is twisting to the left. All the way back up. Then switch sides. Come over to the left side. So right hand to left knee. Arm comes behind for a little twist over to the left. Then you can bring your arm up, straight up overhead. Lengthen through that entire left side by rooting down to the left buttock and reaching up through the left fingertips. Lower that hand back down and then move into your twist a little bit deeper. First, gazing over the left shoulder. And then when you come to your end point, if it's comfortable, you can turn and do a little counter twist back to the other side. All the way back up. And then come back down and we'll slide our arms again over to the other side. This time, you're going to take a little side bend. So we're taking the left hand over towards the right knee, and then you're going to side bend over towards the left side. Yeah, so just a little, even take your hands up onto your wrist. If you want to, you can even reach up overhead. So it's a little side bend. Good, come back up. And then we switch hands. Right hand comes over the left knee, other arm comes up. Making sure that your bottom is firmly rooted and grounded. Making contact on both sides. And then come back up through the center. Good. Okay, let's get rid of whatever you're sitting on. You move it out of the way and off to the side. And then come over onto your hands and knees. Feel free to find a little bit of padding underneath the knees if you'd like. You can use that blanket. And bring your hands slightly in front of your shoulders and your knees underneath your hips. So we'll start with just an easy cat-cow. This allows you to explore the entire movement of the spine. And start to connect with the breath. So the inhale is a backward bend and the exhale is a forward bend. And try to time the movement with your breath. So as your breath begins, the movement begins. As the breath ends, the movement ends. And you transition right into the next movement. Knowing that you're going to move at a little bit different pace than I do. And inhale back through center. Stay here for a moment and take your left arm up into the air. And then stretch it down underneath to thread the needle, but we're not going to pause. We're going to stretch all the way down as far as you can and then back up. We'll do this 3 times. Number 2, all the way down, starting to work the left shoulder down, perhaps even the head down, as you start to explore rotation. And then the final one, start to bring that left shoulder down, and you have an option with the right hand. It can stay in front of your face, or you can move it up overhead, like this with a little pressure, or palm to palm. Sometimes that's nice. Making sure that the hips are staying even as you start to work into the rotation. Take another deep breath. And take your top hand and place it in front of your face on the ground to come all the way back up, and then come back to neutral table. So moving to the opposite side, right arm comes up and then down. Start to explore the rotation on this side. Slide the hand through and then back up in the inhale. Noticing what the range feels like all the way through, all the way up and all the way down. And your last one, settle in on that right shoulder. And then option on this side, again, you could have hand in front of face, hand above, palm to palm. Press in, even the hips. 3 breaths. Using the breath as a place to help to focus and anchor the mind. And come back when your top hand in front of your face, come all the way back up. And then if you'd like, you have your blocks or you have the edge of your sofa, coffee table, tomato cans work great for this. You can bring them in front, or you can just come right back into downward dog with your hands on the floor. We'll come back into downward dog with a nice deep knee bend and lift your tailbone up into the air. And then start by just pressing back one heel and then the other heel, alternating side to side. Perhaps making that a deeper knee bend and moving the hips a little bit more as you start to get into the side body. Then when you're ready, just press all the way back to the right heel and gaze up over the left side. Try to press back all the way through the right side. Good. Come back and then press the left heel back and take your gaze over to the right side. Then slowly come back to center. And look forward and step your right leg forward all the way to the front of your mat. Again, I'm mirroring you here, just to keep you where you are, keep you oriented. And you're gonna bring your hands up onto that front knee. So we're gonna come into this sort of square lunge type of position. So push with your hands to push your torso back like this. So we get this nice upright position. And then option here, fingertips can come down and reach out to the chest. If you'd like to explore, you can start to bring your arms up to the sides and then reach them back and open up to the heart. Big deep breath here. And then push that back hip forward. Release the hands back down. Make your way back to downward facing dog. And then put the other leg up to the front. Left leg comes forward, right leg is back. Come up into this square lunge. And see if you can push this back hip, this right hip forward. Fingertips are down, heart lifts. Stay in this position, or start to explore coming up, reaching the arms back, lunging forward, breathing all the way up into the front of the chest, nice and high. Perhaps getting some expansion all the way up into the ribs near the armpits. Hands to blocks, back to downward facing dog. Take your time and switch legs, and we'll meet back up here with the right leg forward, coming into the lunge. We'll start to take the arms up, elbows back, hands behind head, opening up through the heart. Push that back hip forward. That left hip reaches. And an option to do a slight side bend over to the right. Breathing all the way into that left rib cage, perhaps even up into the armpit. Good. Release back down. Come back to downward facing dog. Or just switch, an option here is just to switch the legs up from this square lunge position. We'll come to our second side. Just take your time. And then when you're ready, start by squaring up, bringing that back hip forward. And then bring the arms up, behind the head, elbows back. Lunge forward a little bit further. An option to side bend over to the left. Breathe into the right rib cage. Good, push through the front leg to come back up. Hands come back down to the blocks. So this time, step all the way to the front of the mat. Come into a forward fold. You move your blocks out of the way if you'd like. And reach your hands down towards the floor. Head softens. Legs can either be bent or straight. So you get to choose which variation feels right for you. If you'd like to go a little deeper, you can even grab a hold of your toes. A little toe lock. Make sure your toes are firmly rooted down to the mat as you bend the elbows. Pull yourself forward. See if you can find the breath in the back side of the body. Release the lock. Push down with the feet. Come all the way back up. Reach the arms up overhead. I'm just going to step back so that you can see me. All the way back up and try to lengthen it through both sides of the torso. Take a couple of full deep breaths. And then exhale, rotate to the left. Gaze over your shoulder. But inhale as you come back up through the center. Then exhale all the way over to the right side. Let's do that one more time. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, rotate. Allow the hips to move to the side. Inhale, come back up through center. And then exhale all the way back over to your side. Good. Come back up through the middle. And then release the arms down and then come down into a forward fold as we move through a slow sun salutation. You can have your blocks or whatever prop you need there, perhaps even in front of you. And then step back with the right leg. Lower the knee down. Sweep the arms up as we come up into a full crescent lunge, Anjaneyasana. And then exhale, bring your right hand down over to the opposite knee and come into a twist. Option to gaze over the left side. Keep lunging forward, hold for 3 breaths. And come back up to the middle into a backward bend. Hands come down onto the floor and step back to plank. So a few options here. You can stay in full plank like this. You can lower the knees down and be in this position. You can come back to hands and knees or even to puppy pose. Wherever you are, hold this position. Hold it for 2 more breaths. Then tuck the elbows next to the sides and lower down onto your belly. Come down onto your forearms. So this is Sphinx pose. So in Sphinx pose, the forearms are in front. You can push down to the floor to reach the chest forward. I like to do this little movement where I kind of glom the hands into the floor and pull the elbows back, and that helps to open through the front of the chest. So you can stay here. If you'd like to explore a little bit deeper, keep those hands forward and start to straighten the elbows and draw the heart towards the front of your mat. The neck stays long, and the gaze is out in between the fingers. One more breath. Release back down. And then make your way back to downward facing dog, puppy pose, which is this pose, or child's pose. So you choose your resting position. Take 5 breaths there. Use the blocks if you'd like. And see if you can reconnect with that natural inhale and exhale. Using the breath as a way to redirect the mind and get back into the present moment. When you're ready, you can bring your right leg forward to the front of the mat, lower the back knee down, move back into Anjaneyasana, second side, pushing that back hip forward. You stay in this position or come into that twist, reaching the arm over, either straight arms or reaching towards the knee. And then gaze over the right side. 2 more breaths here. Bring the arms all the way back up to your crescent lunge. Then hands come down to your blocks. Step all the way to the front of the mat. And this time, come up to a half pike position. So you take your hands on the front of the hips. Now come sideways so you can really see me for this. So hands onto the thighs, knees are bent. And then push to reach your bottom back and your head forward. Okay, so there's a lengthening that's happening in the spine. See if you can create some space. And then send the breath to the back side of the body. Good. Bend your knees and stay in this squat and reach the arms forward and start to sink down a little bit. Noticing the position of the spine. So trying to get rid of this big arch if that's a tendency for you, and trying to make sure that you're not totally tucked under. So keeping that spine nice and neutral, draw into the belly and sink back. Good, come all the way back up. And then try that again. Sink back down, sitting towards that seat behind you. And then reach all the way up. And then sink back down. Good, come all the way back up. And this time I'm going to come forward so you can see me. Bring your hands down towards your heart. And you'll start to twist gently over to the left side. And then back up. And then over to the right side. Bringing the elbow towards the outside of the opposite knee. Just doing as much of a twist and a squat as you feel comfortable with. So you might be like here and do a little twist and come back up. Or you may come all the way down into the side. Let's do one more time each side, sinking as far as you feel comfortable. Final twist. And then come back up. This time you're going to reach down with your arm. So my right hand comes down towards the opposite knee, and I stretch and gaze over my left shoulder. And then come back up. And then down to the opposite side, reaching towards the outside of the knee, and gaze and look over my right shoulder. Good. Come all the way back up to the front of the mat. Exhale, forward fold, head drops. Inhale, come up part way. And then exhale, step back with the right leg. Lower the back knee down, sweep the arms up. Exhale to cactus arms. Out to the side. Breathe into the front of the chest. You can stay in this position or take the hands behind the head like we did before. This time, bring the elbows forward. And imagine that you're painting two lines on the ceiling as you lift the elbows up and bend through the upper back. We're starting to get some extension. This counterbalances that forward curve that starts to happen in the upper back with a lot of sitting and computer work. Good. Once you feel that opening, you can actually release the arms and come into a deeper Anjaneyasana, crescent moon. Release the hands down and move your blocks out of the way. Step back to plank. Again, you choose your plank variation. And we'll do our knee taps that you've done in this class, which may be alternating knees like this, perhaps two knees. Your knees are already down in this position. You just lift one leg. The key is to keep your belly engaged. You can even do this from hands and knees and just stretch a leg back. So you choose the level. This is phase 1. This is phase 2, and plank on knees. Or phase 3, up here with either tapping one knee, or phase 4 with both knees. Do a couple more, keeping the belly firmly engaged and the breath even. And then tap both knees down. Keep the elbows tucked next to the sides and lower down onto your belly. This means Sphinx pose again. This time, start with the press up right away. So we're in a modified cobra where the pelvis is still in contact with the floor. Okay? The shoulders drop back and down, and the neck is nice and long. So if I go sideways, so you can see my position a little bit easier. It looks like hands are quite a bit out in front of me in my typical position. So a little bit easier on the back. Okay? And then release back down. Come back to Sphinx pose, or come down to your belly if that feels like it's enough for your back. But if you're in Sphinx pose or belly, bend your right knee and look over that shoulder. See if you can see your heel. Good, and then come back. And then bend your left knee. Gaze over your shoulder. See if you can see that heel. Come back. This time, bring your left forearm to the front of the mat. You're going to bend that right heel. And there's an option here to even stretch back. The hand might touch, it may not. If it reaches, you can grab a hold, but if not, just stretch it back. And then gaze over that right side. Starting to pull the foot in. Release the leg. And switch arms. So the right forearm comes to the front of the mat. The pelvis stays neutral. So both sides of the pelvis are pressing into the floor as you bend the left knee. An option to reach back, perhaps grabbing a hold of the pant leg, or perhaps the foot, or just reach in that direction. Pull down. And then release. And make a little tent with your hands. Your chin can come down, your forehead can come down. And just breathe for a moment, allowing everything to relax. When you're ready, transition back up, come through hands and knees. Find your resting position in child's pose, puppy's pose, downward dog, option to use blocks. Choose the variation that works for you. 5 breaths. Trying to follow the breath from start to finish, all the way from the inhale, all the way through the exhale. At the end of your next breath, step forward the front of the mat with your right foot. Lower your back knee down. Bring the arms up, and we'll meet in cactus pose again. We're here for second side. And then when you're ready, hands come behind the head, elbows come back, first variation. Second option is to bring the elbows forward, rather than two imaginary lines on the ceiling. And this helps to open up the upper back. And if you'd like to extend the arms all the way up, and you may find that you're able to come into a little bit of a deeper backward bend here. You lunge forward, then push through that right leg to help the torso come back even further. Release the hands back down. Come back to the blocks or the floor. Step forward into your forward fold. And this time, interlace the forearms. We'll turn sideways. A soft knee bend, draw into the belly. Head relaxes. Just sway from side to side. And see if you can move the breath into the back of the body. So if you draw your belly in, that restricts that area. And see if you can feel this side of the body starting to expand. Push down through the feet and come all the way back up to stand. I'll step back for a moment. And then side bend over to the right. You can even do that option of grabbing hold of the wrist like we did lying down. Stretch and reach. Root down to the left foot. Breathe into the left side body. Back up through center line. Switch hands. This time left thumb and first finger grab a hold of that right wrist. Reach up and over. And breathe again through the side body of the wrist. Stretch down through the right foot. Back up through center. Let's meet back in hands and knees. We're going to play with a strength move and also work on a rotation. So plank pose is a great place to work on building up the strength through the side body. Okay? But there's several different ways that you can do it. Okay, so let's start. We're going to build up a little bit from variation to variation, and then you can choose to pick the variation that feels like the level that's appropriate for you today. So from hands and knees, let's shift the weight over onto the left hand and the left knee, and extend the opposite leg behind. So we're coming into sort of a modified Vashisthasana. Vashisthasana is side plank. Then take that top arm, the right arm up, and then overhead, this. And see if you can press through the outside edge of that top foot, that's making the connection with the ground, your mat. And the top arm stretches towards the top and off the top of the mat. Release back down. So shift your weight over to the right side. Extend your left leg out. And the back foot is parallel to the back of the mat. And take your top arm up, stretching fingertip from fingertip. So getting this broad expansion through the back. Stay here or stretch and extend all the way. Fingertips away from fingertips. Good. And then reach down. Good. Let's shift back to the other side. So weight over to the left side. Right arm comes up. Extend. This time, just stretching straight up to the ceiling. And then back leg has the option of lifting up. So you can stay with the foot down or up, working on balancing and expanding and breathing fully through the ribcage. And release back down. Switch over to the opposite side. Back leg on the floor. Stretch and reach left arm up. Push with your bottom hand to try to push your body as far away from the floor as you can. You can stay here or lift the top leg. Flex the foot. Breathe. And then release back down. Good. Okay, so come over onto your left side to bring your forearm down onto your mat. And I think I'm going to shift my mat a little bit here so you can see me sideways. This will be a better view for you. This. Okay, good. So come down onto your elbow and onto bent knees. Now the tendency here is sometimes to bring the knees too far in front like this. I'm going to bring the knees back so that your knees, hips, and shoulders are in one straight line. Another little trick is to try to get that bottom elbow tucked in underneath the shoulder. Perhaps just a tiny bit in front of the shoulder. And you'll notice that when you push and you lift, if it's too far in front, like way up here, that'll be hard to do. So you might need to adjust and play with that position. When you have it, push into the ground and lift up, and bring your top arm onto the top hip, like this. You can stay here, or you can extend the leg up. And then an option to go a little bit further and bring the arm up into the air, and then release back down. Okay, so you can do all of these, even just from this position, is a lot of work for the shoulders. I'm going to flip sideways on my mat so you can see me on this side. So come over onto your right side. And then line those knees up again. So bring the knees, the hips, and the shoulders in one straight line. You might need to bring your legs back a bit. Push down through the forearm to lift up. This hand can come onto hip. A few variations, extending the leg, bringing the arm up, and push to lift a little bit higher. Good. Come back down. Okay, let's try the other side. And this time, we're going to add some rotation in. So you choose the variation that you like. So you may have liked this, like this. You may even stay down with your bottom, or up, or one leg. Okay, and then take the top arm behind your head. And then bring your elbow down towards your fist. So the right elbow comes down towards left fist. Come into a bit of rotation, and then come back up. So we're working on controlling the rotation as you move down and back up. A couple more times. Good. And release back down. Flip sides. Then again, choose the place you want to work, keeping hips down, hips up, leg out. Either position, hand comes behind the head, elbows up, and then reach that elbow down towards your fist. And come back up. Knowing that you should feel the whole side of the body working, that bottom side of the body will be working the other hip, but not feeling strain. If you're feeling strain, you come back to the previous level. And then release back down. Good. Come back up. Excellent. Okay, I'm going to bring my mat so it faces the front again. Just change the angle. And you can come and sit with your legs out straight in front. Pull the toes back. Good. Reach the arms up overhead, and we'll come into a forward fold. Paschimottanasana. Reaching forward first, so that the hands are stretching towards the feet, perhaps towards the toes, perhaps towards the back of the knees and the legs. So just come to a place where you can grasp a hold of the legs and keep working the heart forward for the first variation. Notice my shoulders draw down my back as I come forward. And you start to slowly lower yourself over the legs. When you start to feel that you're at a point where either the backs of the legs, the hamstrings are limiting you, you can stop at that point and then allow the head to lower, perhaps bringing the nose down towards the shins. And start to move the breath into the back side of the body. See if you can fill the body from the low back, the sacral area, all the way up in between the shoulder blades. And take your hands down onto the mat and push down to come back up. Let's bring the legs back, and this time we're going to cross the legs. You're going to work them over towards the opposite sides of the mat. Flex the feet, and try to soften the knees down to the side. Some of you might need to sit up on something, so you might want to grab that blanket again to come up. You're going to walk them off to the sides and see if you can allow the knees to soften down. You might even use your hands to offer some assistance. And you can either do here, like grabbing a hold of the legs, pulling the chest forward, letting the knees soften, or you can bring your hands onto the floor to bring the torso long so that we get that length in the spine and then the fold over the legs. Another option that's nice is to bring the hands onto the bottoms of the feet. And you push the hands into the feet and the feet into the hands to help the knees soften down. You can fold over your legs. So we start to move a little bit more into our hips. And try to press the knees down towards the floor. Perhaps you can keep the action of the legs going as you bring your hands forward on your mat. Even the block here, your coffee table is nice. You press down and allow your head to soften. Again, sending the breath into the back of the body. Stay in this position, or you can take your arms over towards the left side. So I have my left leg in front. Okay, so you can choose whichever leg is in front, you rotate over towards that leg. Twist your torso a little bit and soften down. And then root the opposite buttock and hip down. You could stay here. You could even come a little bit deeper if you'd like to come into a twist. So I'm taking my right arm across my left leg, palm to palm, and press into the palms to help to rotate and gaze over that left side. And you could still be in front with the hands in front. We'll work on this rotation. Good, release the top hand, press down to the floor to come back up. And then just note which leg you have in front. And we're going to take a little twist here with the legs, side to side. And then switch legs. So this time the right leg is on top or in front for me. You choose that variation and walk the feet towards the sides of the mat. So we're ending up, this is a modified version of double pigeon or Augustin-Bassen, spiral log stacking pose. A little bit more comfortable variation. Flex the feet. So you pull the toes back, ankles are at 90 degrees. Let the knees soften down. Perhaps even pushing the feet into the hands and the hands into the feet. And lift the chest, come forward with a long spine. Buttocks are rooting down into your mat. Start to work your way forward. Just ease into this posture, finding space on the exhale. If it's comfortable, the hands can come off of the feet, but you still work on that downward movement of the thighs. Hands come forward on the mat. You creep them forward. And start to transition the breath into the back side of the body. Stay here with the hands facing forward, or option to start to come over towards that front leg. So I'm moving over to the right side. You might be doing the other side. Whichever leg is in front, keep the opposite buttock in contact with your mat. And stay here, but you can start to add a twist in. My left elbow is coming over on top of the right leg, and then palm to palm, push down, start to look up. Again, making sure that both buttocks maintain their contact with your mat. Take your top arm, push down to the floor, and come back up. Let's bring the legs back into our rotation side to side. Let's move and rotate through the spine a little bit deeper. We did this one last time. This is a variation of a side sit, swastikasana. So you bring the legs like this into a side sit, and I'm sitting, again, you're mirroring you, so you're gonna be sitting on your right hip like this, with the legs off to the side. Okay? Bring the torso up nice and upright. Then you're gonna start to walk the hands over towards the right side of the mat. And you start to come down towards the floor. So I can come down onto my forearms. You have a prop nearby, like your blanket. Some of you might like that, or a block, or a cushion. And you reach the forearms down towards that. You start to twist and rotate. Some of you may even have the flexibility to start to bring the left shoulder down towards the floor, even starting to come into a full twist here. So either staying here in this position or working into a rotated position. That's a big twist to the thoracic spine. So be gentle. And slowly come back up. I'm going to move my bolster to the other side. You can use your blanket for that too. And then flip the legs over so that now you're sitting on your left hip. And like a side sit with the legs off to the side. Just make any adjustments that you need. And when you're ready, start to rotate over towards your left side, walking your hands toward the left side of your mat. Come into a twist. So you may choose to stay high like this. My opposite buttock, so my right buttock is up off of the floor. I do this, but you're keeping the left buttock firmly grounded. If it's comfortable, you can come down onto the floor like this. Okay? Or you may come down onto a prop like this. You're starting to work the right forearm down towards your prop or the floor. And if you want to go deeper, you can even lie that whole shoulder down, pressing palm to palm, perhaps even coming into a deeper twist. And push down through the left arm to come up. And then come down and lie on your back. From this position, roll all the way over onto your right side. Okay? And then hug the knees up towards your chest so you have this 90-degree angle. And then take this arm straight up in the air. So left arm up and then back. You may need to move some of your props out of the way. So up, stretch it out, and then start to reach that shoulder blade down. Your right hand can hold on to the top leg. And gaze over the side. If you'd like to take this deeper, you can stretch your bottom leg down towards the bottom of your mat, or the top of the mat rather. Bring the knee over and across. Bigger stretch. Here, lengthen the top or the bottom leg, come back. And come all the way through the center. And then over to the other side. Scoot your hips. All the way over onto your side. This time, right arm reaches up and it lengthens as it stretches down towards the floor. Again, moving any props out of the way. So you can reach back towards the floor, working your shoulder onto the floor or towards that direction. Gaze over the right side. Option to stretch the bottom leg down and breathe. Back up. And then roll over onto your back. Then come down and lie in Shavasana. And you have some props, so you may want to take your blanket and place it under your knees, place it behind your head, put a cushion behind your head, place another layer on. Wherever you are, find a position that you can relax in. Some of you may have a seat, chair, something that you can put your feet on, feel free to use that option. Then when you're ready, just try to tune in to where your body is meeting the floor. And allow the surface below you to fully support you. Notice if there's any holding. See if you can let go just a little bit more. Allow the breath to relax. Everything that you need is right here, right now, in this moment. Release all effort. Slowly bring your awareness back to the breath, moving in the body. Awareness of how you're meeting the surface below you. Start to make small movements. Wake yourself back up. Start to transition back to a comfortable seated position on your mat. Let's take your time. Try to find the position that you started in at the beginning of the practice. With soft gaze or eyes closed. Just repeat that check-in, head to toe. How are you feeling? Hands to your heart center. Just express gratitude to yourself for taking the time out of your day to come to this practice and sharing it with this community. Deep respect. Thank you for coming to the practice today. It's so great to see all of you. I'm going to stop the recording, and if you'd like to share a hello with your neighbors, feel free to do that.